Welcome back to 360 Sports. I'm your host, Sophia. This is our Frenzy episode, and I have alongside me, I have Kylie, Pat, and Fernando. It's pretty gloomy outside today, but we're going to make it better because we're talking about all things sports across the board. So first, Caitlin Clark is getting her flowers. Iowa has retired the number 22 jersey. No one else after her can wear it in Iowa's program. What do you guys think of this? Do you think she deserved this? What's going on?
She had an amazing season. She had an amazing career as a whole, but I was kind of surprised by this just because you never know who else is going to come into your program. But at the same time, I don't see many other people coming into Iowa being like Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
So I think this is amazing. It's just another thing that she's done for her program, for herself as a player. And I hope that this, kind of helps other schools in the same direction because I feel like you see men's jerseys retired all the time, but you don't really see this that often with women. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see, how this goes and to see her name up there amongst a bunch of other men will be interesting.
Yes, that's good that a woman finally got recognized like that. Pat, what do you think?
I think she absolutely deserves her flowers. I mean, she is that's the operative word there, is one of the best women's basketball players in the collegiate level that we've ever seen. I've been hearing talks that she's the greatest women's athlete ever. I've been hearing talks that she's the greatest women's collegiate basketball player of all time, which isn't true because she didn't win. I think she's probably the most important that we have ever seen for collegiate basketball. I don't think there's any denying that how important she is to the game. I think it's gotten more eyes than it ever has, and probably I'm not going to say ever will. I think the success will carry through because people realize how talented they actually are.
Yeah.
But it does other players a disservice to call her the greatest when she didn't reach the level that others did.
So you think because she didn't get the national championship, she's not the greatest of all time?
Most important thing in sports is that
I don't agree.
I actually agree with him on that. Like,
really
I'm a big believer in you need to get, in order to get your shirt retired, you need to win a championship.
No.
I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer in that. Yes, Caitlin Clark. Yes, I agree. Like she deserves her flowers. She deserves to be recognized and retire her shirt. But for me, Caitlin Clark, the only reason I would argue against her shirt being retired is because she didn't win a title.
I don't think she needed that title, though, because, think about it. Other teams besides Iowa are just stronger. I think that Iowa has great players. They're all Hannah Stokey. They're amazing players alongside of her, and she always owes them credit every time they win anything. But I would say that Caitlin Clark is the reason this season that they had that much publicity and that much success. So teams, though, like South Carolina, who were undefeated all season and have just stronger players, I think, in every component, it makes sense why they won the national championship.
Yeah. No, I don't think South Carolina gets the credit that they deserve.
Exactly.
I agree with you. One of the best teams of all time.
Yeah.
No, in fact, no one started paying attention to South Carolina until the tournament happened, and they should have been paying attention to this team even way ahead before Iowa did.
Yeah.
I just think there's certain things you need to look at. I agree with you. I wouldn't say she's going to go down as the best women's basketball player of all time because that has certain credentials.
I think Breonna Stewart is.
And that national championship is one of those credentials that she doesn't have. As far as retiring the jersey goes, that's up to the school. That's not up to the NCAA. Mm-hmm. So the school wants to retire her jersey. The school's going to retire her jersey. She deserves all of that.
Yeah, I don't agree with him on that fact. I think they should 100%.
It's also what she stood for, everything, too, because
absolutely.
Every basketball player now that comes into women's college basketball after her, I think will benefit from the legacy that now she's left because not even just learning from her skill, but learning from the way she's humble, from the way she respects her teammates, her coaches, her fans, and her opposing players. I think more her character is also a reason that her jersey should have been retired.
Yeah, I liked the tweet this week from Cameron Brink that said more people right now could probably name 5 women's NCAA basketball players than they could men's. I really sat there and had to think. After that, I was like, wait, that she made a point, and I'm going to have to agree with it right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It depends for people that are really interested in sports.
Yeah.
You can't say that, but to people that just watch basketball to enjoy it,
you're right. Absolutely.
I'm probably going to go with they can name more women's basketball players than
men's. To be honest, I agree with you. For me, it was it's hard for me to name players on UConn than it is for Iowa and South Carolina. So I kind of agree with Cameron Brink on that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's stick to basketball, but talk about the NBA playoffs, which are right around the corner, and the Eastern Conference playoff race is heating up with this 3 to 8 seeds being separated by only a couple of games. Where do you guys think that these Eastern Conference teams will finish?
I think it's a great race right now. I think a lot of these teams, I like the Knicks. I'm not the biggest Knicks fan in the world. I don't think they have the playoff pedigree to get there. I'm a 76ers fan. I don't think we have the playoff pedigree to get there.
Okay.
Unless Embiid is fully healthy, which he hasn't been the past couple of playoffs, and he won't be this year. I don't think we can get there. Celtics, I don't think they're going to get there. I think the Bucks, maybe the Heat, because the Heat don't show up until
the
The
playoffs.
playoffs. I agree with you on that.
That's true.
And they have all the talent and the experience to get there. And I think the Bucks have the experience to get there.
For me, this is the conference for the Celtics to lose. Like they've been the best team in the NBA this year. They have more than 60 wins this year. And the Bucks, they looked awful. They just lost to 3 straight lottery teams, which were the Grizzlies, the Raptors, and the Wizards. So like, how am I going to be confident in the Bucks going into the playoffs?
Their defense has looked better in the second half of the season.
I just think after all these seasons have gone on, the Celtics do the same thing every single year. They
disappoint.
So who do you think's gonna
disappoint.
take them
They
down?
choke every single year.
I'll
I personally think, as far as standings go, the Celtics aren't going to move. All these other teams are 10 wins behind the Celtics. That's not going to change. But I will say the Knicks and the Bucks right now are 2 of the teams that I'm looking at because they're so close behind each other.
Look, the Celtics are like, they have that pedigree of choking in the playoffs, but you can't deny how good this team is.
But if you're going to put them in the
much depth.
playoffs, the Bucks have better playoff experience, I feel like, in their team right now than the Celtics do.
The Bucks have Doc Rivers as their coach. Like, I'm expecting at least a second round exit with Doc Rivers as their coach.
I don't.
They also have Giannis. And I think that's an
Exactly.
important.
He's hurt.
He is hurt right now. I forgot, but it shouldn't be. I think he's probably going to be back in the first round of the playoffs. I think that's what I heard. He's going to be back in time. They have Dame Lillard. I mean, Dame Lillard's not the greatest playoff performer of all time. In the second round. In the first round, he's fantastic. But the Bucks they have the players to get there. They
Exactly.
have
Who do you
defense
think's going to take the Celtics
if they
down?
need to show. Celtics. Who do they play in the first round again?
They would play the Heat.
They're playing the Heat
right now.
If the Heat, I think the Heat could
The Heat-
easily
the
take
Heat
them down.
could do it.
The Heat
Heat
could
could
eliminate
do it.
them. Yes, like Jimmy Butler for some reason in the playoffs just turns it off. He's that guy. He has that dog in him in the
But I
playoffs.
think a lot of teams get to that point in the playoffs where they kind of come out and like maybe they weren't glazing the top of the standings all season, but then they come in and they're sweeping up the first and second seeds.
And the Heat have just as much talent and a deep bench as the Celtics do. And people don't give enough credit because they don't play great in the regular season.
Yeah.
Plus, they have Eric Spoelstra. You're talking about coach earlier. If you want to coach a team to coach
Yeah,
you
I
in the
agree with
playoffs, it's Spoel.
Also, a sleeper for me is the Knicks. I think, or the Sixers, believe it or not.
See, but the Sixers' issue is they are never at full health, and
Yeah,
until
they're
they're at full health, they don't perform well.
Mhm.
They performed
I would trust
amazing last week with Maxey and Embiid together. Like that's my
And
team
Tobias is
too.
playing well.
Yeah.
That's my team too. So that's obviously like who I want to see go that far. But it's Philly. You can't really bet on them that much, and they're just never at full health. And until they're at full health, they're not going to beat these
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
I say it's crucial that they get out, that they make sure they don't play in the play-in tournament because that way Embiid can rest up for the playoffs. So I think that could vary into how far the Sixers can go into the playoffs.
That's true. But the Western Conference on the other side has also been amazing this year. And with that being said, do you guys have any finals predictions?
I mean, obviously, the first team, it's hard to pick against the Nuggets.
It's hard,
They
yeah.
have
Yeah, I
Jokic,
agree.
probably the most dominant player we've seen in a while since, I'd say, Curry or LeBron. He is that entire offensive engine. When he's not on the court, they're not great. But when he is on the court, they're the best team in the NBA offensive-wise. They're not the best defensive team in the NBA, but I was making a case for the Bucks, so I can't go that route. And then my team, it's not the Mavs. I think the Mavs are terrible. I don't think their defense horrendous. I like the Timberwolves. I think they are one of the most complete teams outside of like the Celtics in the entire NBA. They have great defense. They have great offense. I don't see an area where they underperform in the playoffs.
I don't either. And I think, those two teams, as far as the Nuggets and the Timberwolves go, are like miles ahead of all the other teams in the Western Conference. The last time the Warriors were 10th, I couldn't even tell you. Like, I don't remember when that
They
has
missed
happened.
the playoffs 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's just, to me, it's weird not to see them in there. But at the same time, like, when you watch the Nuggets and you watch their playback and stuff, they're pulling kids off the bench like crazy. So if you have a deep bench, sometimes that can take you farther than having more of a complete team. I'd love to see the Timberwolves do something, though. I'm definitely going to agree with you on that because, the Nuggets had their time last year and they are a very complete team.
Yeah,
Also, I would say like the Nuggets had that chemistry from last year. They're coming off a win in the NBA Finals last year to the Heat, so like they have that chemistry. They pretty much brought the same team as they did last year. So chemistry is going to be such a huge factor in the playoffs. So they have that. With the Timberwolves, like the only question I have with them is playoff experience. Like Last year, like they were the 8th seed, and they got swept, I think, by the Nuggets as well. So like that comes into question. Also, can we give props to the Thunder this year?
I mean, I didn't talk
the Thunder, because like this team didn't even make the playoffs last year. In just 1 year they made the leap from not making it to the 3rd seed at the least. They might even
tied for the 1 seed right now.
And they're tied for the 2nd seed actually. But like they made such a huge leap. I have my questions because they don't have playoff experience, and I think they will be a first round exit because of that.
Okay.
But like you have to give a lot of credit to the Heat, to the
They're
Thunder.
so young, and they're going to be great for a
They're
very long time.
young. Yes, that's one of their
Also,
pluses.
can you believe like we might not see LeBron or Steph Curry in the playoffs? We're heading that way at this rate.
It's interesting though to see those teams coming out and then beating out whoever that you always see, you're always expecting, because I feel like it just makes it more interesting.
As a Lakers fan, like it really annoys me to see like like how bad we've been this year, because like we made the conference finals last year, and like at this rate we probably won't even make the playoffs at this rate.
I like seeing a playoff bracket that has so much. It's like so rich in talent from like all different sides of the country, all different types of teams, new, old. What you said, deep in the bench, only got their starting 5 that can honestly get them the whole way. So I feel like that just makes it more interesting to see like the different levels of playing that goes on and what they can do with it.
They're wide open right now.
I mean, for years it was always the Warriors and the Cavs. So it's kind of like this is kind of giving off March Madness a little bit here, because you never really know what's going to happen at this point.
Yeah,
the only problem is like I hate that the best of 7 series. Like you can go into one game, play awful, and then you'll be fine for the next, I would say, 4 games. Like I don't like that, to be honest.
How it should be, I think.
But it should be that.
I don't think a 1 game.
I don't think a 1 game for the NBA would work. I agree.
Yeah,
That's true. I like the series.
Yeah, or you can do best of 5, to be honest.
Yeah. Moving forward, we have a bunch of exciting sports events coming up. So now we're going to head to the board, and we're going to talk about a game or an event that we're really excited to see. There's like baseball's going on, basketball playoffs that we're literally just talking about, and there's so much I feel like that we could cover. So first, we're going to go with Pat.
All right. I don't think it's much of a shock for what I picked. My favorite sport that has ever existed and will ever exist is mixed martial arts. And the biggest card of all time is this weekend, UFC 300, the 3rd Centennial fight. It is the biggest and most impressive fight we have ever seen. I understand the main event is a little lackluster, but I promise you it will deliver more than you really think it will. The rest of the card is stacked. I don't see any flaws with this card. There's 11 ex-title holders, 14 ranked fighters. This is the most stacked card we've ever seen. It's the craziest card we've ever seen. But now all we got to do is wait to see how the fights actually deliver. They could be stinkers. It happens all the time in the UFC where we think a fight's going to be great, and it's not. But they potentially could. There's a lot of great fights.
I like it.
That's a really good one.
I'm trying to get more into the UFC.
Yeah, so am I. I'm not into that much into it as well.
It's a pretty inviting sport.
Yeah, I feel like it's.
And it's because you can. It's not like a team sport. But you can pick a single person to be a fan of. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's. I completely agree with
like
that.
your pick.
And then next we'll have Fernando's pick.
Well, as we all know, my favorite sport is soccer. And this weekend, there was the Champions League quarterfinals, first legs. And look at these score lines: 2-2, 3-3, 2-1, 2-3. These were great matchups. And now there's a second leg. And I'm so excited for the second leg because, like, there were 18 goals during the first leg. That's an average of 4.5 goals. Like, these matches were insane. As a Barca fan, like the PSG Barca match, it was putting me on my edge of my seat. And as for Real Madrid, Man City, these are 2 heavyweights. Man City won the Champions League last year. Real Madrid is the king of Europe. They've won 15 Champions League. So that storyline is fantastic. As for Arsenal Bayern, you have the king of Germany with an underdog and a young team in Arsenal who tied 2-2, and they're going back to Germany for the second leg, which will be great. This matchup, you might say they're 2 weak teams, but still they're like they have so much history. So this is another great matchup. And as for my favorite team, Barcelona, against the best team in France, going to these second legs, I can't be more excited for it. And it's going to be insane. I'm so excited for it.
I love this pick, honestly. I'm a big soccer guy or football. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. I mean, I'm not opposed. It originally was called soccer, but we're not going to get into that argument right now. I love the matchup between Man City and Real Madrid. I mean, there's talent all over that field. I mean, Man City has one of the most efficient offenses we have ever seen in soccer. I mean, Haaland's obviously. I mean, some people may call him he picks the ball off right near the goal line, but that is what it is. But he still scores the ball.
Yeah, and also like we're having the 2 best teams in Europe going against each other in the
Absolutely.
quarterfinal.
These two teams should be in the final.
Like-
that is really what it would come down to
And look-
in the aggregate right now.
and there's so much storylines in all these matchups.
Yeah.
So like I'm really pumped for the second leg.
Bayern, I hate. So we can get them out of there. They stink. Don't let that score fool you. Arsenal is a much better team than they are.
Yeah, if I had to predict, I would go with Arsenal, Man City, Atletico, and then Barcelona.
Atletico over Dortmund.
Yes.
That game they had 3 shots that hit the post yesterday. I'm just going to be honest with you.
But there's something about Atletico in the Champions League that brings out the best in them. Like they have so much pedigree, they have so much
This isn't
experience.
Inter or AC. This is Atletico we're talking about.
But I'm really excited for this.
I'm so glad you guys have a lot of passion about this.
Like
This is really good.
Yeah, like I'm serious. People should pay more attention to soccer. It's a heck of a sport to watch.
Yeah, it is. Kylie, your pick now?
All right, so my pick will be happening tonight at 7:30. This is the Knicks Celtics game at TD Garden. I am so excited for this. I feel like, I'm a 76ers fan at heart. That's who I claim, unfortunately. But I would definitely have to say the Knicks have been kind of taking that over a little bit. I said this multiple times on here before. I am a Villanova basketball fan through and through. So to watch 3 former Villanova basketball players play at the level that they have been playing at and dominate basketball the way they have has me so excited. And then obviously, as we just talked about, you have the Celtics, who are the top team in the Eastern Conference. This is at TD Garden, so these Knicks players are going to have the Boston fans all over them. But I'm just so excited to see how this plays out, especially because we're not at the point right now where, this win could change a lot. But I will be very, very interested to see how Jason Tatum and his team take on a team like the Knicks that has so much chemistry from playing together for so many years. So
I like this pick.
is
I
my
like
pick.
this
like this
I'm
pick.
so excited.
I like how it's up and coming. It's tonight. So
It's tonight. It's at
that's what-
7:30.
That's what you'll be doing.
That's
It's
good.
at 7:30 tonight. It's at TD
I
Garden.
got one thing to say about it. People say that Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, Boston Red Sox are the most annoying
Yeah.
fans. I'm friends with a couple of Knicks fans. You guys are so annoying.
Thank
You guys
you.
are unbearable to be around when Knicks are playing or when they're good.
Oh, I agree with you.
Thank you.
No, I
Thank
agree with you.
you.
I have
It's annoying.
I agree with you. I have a friend who's a Knicks fan, and he's so annoying to stand. He puts stuff on his stories. I'm like, please, bro, leave it alone.
How do you
I
think
just-
we feel during the football season when all the Phillies fans painting their face green?
I have a
walking
friend who's a
down the
Knicks fan.
street?
He's on this show.
You've been asked to name drop.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. Cade. Cade is unbearable. I'm going to say, I was at Cade's place one night, and I swear to God, I walked past his bedroom to go to the bathroom, and there's a Jalen Brunson shrine with the candles lit all around it. That's how much he loves the
Okay,
Knicks.
I will say, though, if you like podcasts, I mentioned this last week, too. Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson have a podcast together right now.
Oh, it is great.
And honestly, it might top new heights for me. Simply based off the fact that the episodes are a little bit shorter. It's much more free-flowing,
Mhm.
but they have been together since college, and they played under Jay Wright, and now they're playing together again. So for me, like, I just enjoy watching it so much because, the Knicks have been doing really well this year, and it's good to see someone else, like we said, doing well.
You're right.
And sucks that they don't have Julius Randle, because they would be with Julius Randle, they would be at their full
It'll
potential.
be a much better team.
Well, next up we have my pick for what I'm excited for. And that's going to be the Yankees-Orioles series. I am most excited for this because I just want to see the two best teams in the AL East face off during the regular season. They played in the spring season. They've played in the spring, preseason against each other. The Yankees won one and the Orioles won one. So now I really just want to see what the regular season does for a new team, a new younger team like the Orioles, and then a set team like the Yankees who's had this roster and they've been building off their reputation for years. Keeping up. Aaron Judge really hasn't been making that much noise, I don't think, yet this season. So I honestly want to see what he does against the Orioles when a game like this is honestly something close to what a playoff game would be like. I think this whole series is going to be like that. It's going to be in about 2 weeks, starts April 29th. So I'm pretty excited to see it. And it honestly is an MLB game that will get me excited because my Mets are not doing well whatsoever. I believe we're 3-10 right now, and no game is really excited me, but we did beat the Braves today, so it's a little off topic. But I'm just saying that at least some New York team maybe will give me some hope this season.
I like this pick. I mean, the Orioles are on the up, so they're gonna get better, and the Yankees are surprising us this year.
Yeah.
They went on a road trip for 8 games or 7, and they lost 2 or 1 game in that road trip, which was very impressive.
Yeah.
So
They were very disappointing last year, and they're better this year. They're
Yeah.
up against a team that won it last year and everyone says they should win it again this year.
Yeah, so I'm like really excited to watch that.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Me too. And now, I mean, speaking of MLB, now we're going to go around the MLB diamond. The Red Hot Pirates are 9-3, and they're facing off against the Phillies, 6-6. What do you guys think is going to happen with this game?
Last year, the Phillies, technically, yes, last year. The Phillies did what they did. They got as far as they did. They didn't make it all the way.
Should have gone further.
Yeah.
But this
Agreed.
is what they do. They start their seasons off not well.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying, they're going to have a perfect year. Like, I'm not claiming that. But what I will say is they just never start off that well. This is Philadelphia going up against Pittsburgh, which already just makes it more fun, obviously.
Mhm.
But I personally think this is going to go either way.
Yeah.
I'm not picking a team here just because 9-3 and 6-6. I mean, yes, that's a difference, but at the same time, you never know what Philly's going to come in and do.
Well, Philly at home
Yeah.
is a different team
Exactly.
when
Yeah,
they
I
play
agree.
at home.
Yeah.
So I would say the games played at home might end regardless of record, regardless of who's playing. As long as the Phillies are healthy, I think they could take this one, and then that could be the pickup for the rest of
Exactly.
the season. Like they started pretty slow, and then they pick it up. But the Pirates are so hot right now, and I feel like they have a lot to prove from themselves because no one's seen them have this good of a score in the MLB season recently. Like the Pirates are
Yeah.
Yeah.
never a reliable team.
They haven't
Yeah.
been in a while.
Yeah, I mean, for
yeah.
me, I look at the pitching matchups, and that will determine who I think will win the series.
Mhm.
And based on looking off the pitching matchups, I could see a split or a Phillies winning the series, to be honest. Because like they have, like I'm looking at who they're putting tonight. They're putting Suarez, and they're putting Sanchez. They're putting Turnbull on Saturday, and they're finishing it off with Wheeler against Keller.
Yeah.
So that should be like good matchups.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm looking at who the Pittsburgh Pirates are putting, and I just have more confidence in the Phillies pitching than I do in the Pirates.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. What do you think?
For me, as a Philly fan, it's always rough at the beginning of the
Mhm.
season because they never start out as good as they really should be.
Yeah.
If I was a betting man, which I'm not, I don't want that image spread around me, but if I was, I would pick the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Whoa.
Really?
They're the better team playing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to take into account how early the season
But
is.
we have a bunch of Pittsburgh Pirates fans in the control room. So I'm going to say Phillies are going to win 10-0 every single game because I love
I
to
just
hate it.
also think, I don't know like where the Pirates have played so far. And again, Philly fan as well, not trying to be like this, but going into any Philly stadium, you think you're ready, you're not.
Yeah.
Even as a fan going
Yeah.
in, you think you're like pumped up and ready, and then people are just throwing stuff and like you're really not actually ready. So I just think, that doesn't always play into it. But as far as Philly baseball goes, that is a huge aspect
Oh,
of
yeah.
how this weekend
I
is
can-
going
Oh
to
yeah,
go.
like that
Yeah.
home environment plays a huge effect. I
Exactly.
learned that in Red October.
I also
That could be
kind of
nice, though.
hope that the Pirates win, only because two boys who live next to me in my dorm, they're Pirates fan, they're Pittsburgh's fan all the way.
So you don't want to hear him complain.
I don't want to hear. They're
Yeah.
much nicer, so much nicer when the Steelers do well, the Pirates do well, when the Penguins do well. Much nicer.
So they're
boys.
never very nice.
No, see,
Well
so
said.
that's why, for my sake, I'm really hoping the Pirates win. I feel like it'll sleep
Well, I'll be
peacefully.
nicer if the Phillies win. So
Yeah.
I'll be happy with the Phils win. I mean, it will be a heck of a series, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then around the college diamond, we have to talk about the Penn State's infamous Dollar Dog Night.
The worst night of my life.
Of
okay,
course.
so I'm confused by this because I didn't go. My friends went though, and they said you had to buy 2 hot dogs.
So then that's
So
$2.
it's $2.
Yeah.
What do they think? What do they
Well,
think?
that's still
when you look
technically
at it-
be a dollar
When
a
you
dog.
look at it though,
The math
I personally
checks
think
out.
they counted like what $6,000 hot
6,000
dogs
hot
sold.
dogs. Yeah.
I saw the
I was not-
line.
If everyone's buying 2 hot dogs, yeah, you're gonna have 6,000 hot dogs sold.
Also, like,
We waited in line for probably around 2.5 hours. We missed 6 innings of baseball
That's
to get
just crazy.
to get 3 hot dogs. It's a hot dog. I could have went to Target across the street from my apartment, bought a whole
I
12
wouldn't do
pack, and
that.
ate them all before and gone to the game and watched the
Everyone
second
went to this game. This is the second $1 dog game they've had though.
4,000 people. It was the
yeah,
most
I
popular
saw
game
they
we've
they
ever
both
had.
they had.
So
yeah,
I didn't
Tina's
know about
record.
this game.
I didn't go.
And
I was
apparently
sitting in my
everyone went.
bed.
I didn't know what happened.
I wish I can go, but unfortunately, I have my club meetings during that day, so I don't have the pleasure to go.
You're
that
lucky.
day.
No, it's not. You didn't have the pleasure. You had the pleasure of not
Who
going.
did they play? Who did
They played Farley Dickinson.
Yeah, FTU from
and they
Jersey.
blew them
I
out.
was just like,
It was 17-2.
That's why I was. I
mean,
I
they're
guess that means
bad.
that
4,000
They're
people show
bad.
up to
So,
watch
like-
Penn State baseball play Farley Dickinson.
It's a win for the baseball team. If they're gonna win, you might as well go because you're not gonna see it a lot.
I mean, like, and it's
Wow.
also fun to go to Dollar Dog Night.
You're not. I mean, come on
what
now.
hot dog? You didn't get a hot dog. Nobody got
I
hot
would
dogs.
rather grill it myself than wait
Exactly.
in that line. I don't do lines. I don't do lines.
Then get early, then I
Carnival
guess.
theme
I
at
was
East
I was an
tonight.
hour in. and
Hot
I was,
dogs.
I know
for
it's
dinner.
carnival theme.
You could go up to East and get hot dogs for dinner right now
It's
too.
carnival.
I'm not
So
going to East.
I'm not going
Like,
to East either.
past
there
that
you go.
point.
There's no
Yeah,
line
that
there.
place is not
This carnival
not
night.
a place to go.
Carnival night.
Yeah, it's carnival night East.
Yeah, and at South
Elaborate
as well.
on
I
that.
think in South too.
Yeah,
I think they have corn dogs and
they have like so many like variety of
like
options.
Corn dogs. That
fried
sounds so good
foods.
right now.
The food in East is. I don't know about.
Terrible.
I don't know.
I got
how
medium rare
edible it
chicken
is.
from East once.
medium rare chicken.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
God.
you had.
Chicken was cooked medium rare.
Oh, so that's not a thing. That
Whoa.
shouldn't
Yeah, it was
happen.
terrible. It was bad.
I mean, I went to East one time and I never went back.
All my
So-
friends are very excited about this carnival night. I don't think I could get farther from the dining hall tonight, but that's just me.
But I really do want to go one day to a Dollar Dog Night, despite what you're telling me.
I don't
there
know.
early,
I don't
I
know. I
guess.
feel like
I
that
guess.
is so
Get there early, I
impassioned.
guess.
I might not go.
I was furious.
It looks
Like
like
if I want a hot dog, I want a hot. Like I don't want to wait 2.5 hours in
It's not
line
even
for
a good
it.
hot dog.
I mean-
Like, it's a terrible hot dog.
That's what I'm saying. If it's $1, it can't be.
It looked gray. It was weird.
I remember going to a Flyers game and they were doing the same thing the Phillies did, which was a Dollar Dog Night. And I mean, I still remember the line just to go
Dollar
get a hot
Dog.
dog.
What do you put on your hot dogs? You ketchup, mustard.
Ketchup.
Ketchup, mustard as well.
Oh no.
Mayo. Ketchup, mustard, mayo.
That's why you were so upset.
I heard something from back there. It's not that gross. Try it. You put it on a hamburger. Put it on a hot dog. Who cares?
What's
That's
mayo
why
in a
you were
hot
so
dog?
upset.
Okay, like when Philly does this, when Citizens Bank does it, I'd rather just wait in line for the ice cream in the helmet. Like I'm not gonna get a hot dog from there
That's right.
either.
You're so
Yeah,
right.
that's fair.
Well, that's enough about Dollar Dog Night. You will
Yeah.
have to be the deciding factor if you go to one of these. I don't think I will. But we have the Masters tournament is going on right now. I don't know much about golf, so please do not come at me. But I just know that it's a really big deal. And if anyone has any thoughts about the Masters.
For me, when I think about the Masters, the name that always comes up to me is Tiger Woods. He is the GOAT of golf. He is the reason we watch golf today, and a lot of people are attracted to the sport. And
Yeah, I know
he's
that
playing,
guy.
and he's back. And he's back after not playing for 2 months.
Brings it all.
So like that, just the Tiger effect makes me want to watch this all the time. And also, it's the biggest golf tournament in ever. So like that always, and it brings so much tradition. I love that. Like I love the fact that it's always played in the same course. Like you're not going to a different place every year. Like I love that fact, and I'm really excited to watch it. I think Scotty Scheffler will take it. To be honest,
I thought he was retired, Tiger Woods.
No.
No.
So the problem
done a
with
lot of
him
things.
this year is I don't personally think he's older, but he has to make the cut to get to the next. But if he makes that cut, he was playing today, then he'll make the most cuts in the Masters like thus
Yeah.
far.
Ever.
Oh,
But what I will say is I think Rory McIlroy might have this year.
No.
Simply based off
No.
the fact that
Grand Slam.
it would be a grand slam. Exactly. That's what I'm excited about. And, he hasn't performed well in the past. I think this was the 10th year at the Masters that he tried.
He's
So
always
come
terrible at
on.
Augusta.
He has the opportunity to get this grand slam. He just needs to get off to a good start
And he
today.
hasn't won a major in
He hasn't won a major in
So
11
as far
years.
as that goes, I want him to win. I want him to win
as an
over
Irish,
everyone.
as an Irish American,
Exactly.
I would love to see Rory win. He's my favorite.
I
but
mean,
I'm gonna regurgitate
he
him.
just missed a 3-foot birdie putt. So there you go.
Oh,
Of course.
Ooh.
Oh,
And-
I wish I knew what these
And
things
Scotty
meant.
was 6 under.
Can you
Yeah.
give me?
So it's going to be in between the two of them. I just personally
I was
want
gonna
to
say
see Rory
Scotty.
McIlroy take this home, grand slam. Like, come
I think
on.
Scotty won 2
Look.
years ago. Is that one?
Yeah, something.
Look, I get the storyline with McIlroy, but this has been the story for so long. I felt for 2 years in a row, and he just doesn't get it done. I mean, he had a lead and going into the final round in another major championship. It then failed to convert. So why should I be confident that he could get it done at the Masters?
I just think it would be,
Because I won it.
yeah, I just think it would be
'Cause I
way
want that
more
to
interesting
happen.
to see someone who hasn't won and, Masters, US Open, PGA, and the British Open.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
You know what?
For me, it's just- for me,
that's good. I'm glad.
thank you.
Glad you have
We're going
hopes.
Irish. We're Irish. We're sticking with the Irish.
I
Look
mean,
at the Irish, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like the pick as well. So I wish he could get it done as well.
All right. Well, I hope you all are tuning in for the Masters, but that is all we have for our episode today. Thank you. Tune in next week. We'll have all new episodes, all new shows. And I'm Sophia, Kylie, Pat, and Fernando. See you guys next week.